Welcome to this week's Code Cookie. I'm with you here today with Carl-Fredrik and Daniel Magnusson. And last week we talked about some of the values in Zervicepoint that you have created in your content, the top 5 most ordered services this far in just 23 days. And this week we will be focusing on some of the automation challenges you have been facing. We hit it off immediately with a question: which process has been the hardest to automate?
Well, it's pretty easy to automate a service if you know what the process behind looks like. So I would say that none of them has been really hard to automate. It is simple to do everything with Zervicepoint, as long as you know your services and the processes behind.
Sometimes the most difficult part can be to extract the process from the organization.
Yeah.
Know who to talk about, who to talk to, and the right questions to ask. But have you been working with Gantt schemas and PowerPoints and stuff, or have the processes been crystal clear from the get-go?
We've had a pretty clear picture on how we want the services and processes to work. And then while we were developing, we've seen issues with how we thought from the beginning and had to adapt a little bit afterwards. But the biggest process, or the bigger processes, our onboarding and offboarding processes, are fully documented with a full flow schedule. So once we start with them, we have a good visual view on how the process in Zervicepoint should look. But then what you document and what is actually expected is always or very often 2 different things. So that might change as well while we develop them. But I would say that, well, we have a pretty good picture on how we want our processes to work and what our users expect.
And we will be looking more into the onboarding or new employee process later as well. What has been the most technically challenging?
That was to replace the front end of our service desk solution and move that to Zervicepoint. Due to the lack of some functionality in the service desk product and their API, we had to adapt the process to the differences, and had to adapt some of our tasks internally on our department, how we work with tickets to make it work with Zervicepoint.
Yeah, Zervicepoint isn't really a ticket handling system out of the box, but you can.
It is now.
It is okay.
At least for our users.
Say if you need to do a lot of building if you want to use it exactly like a ticket handling system.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so what would you like to make a service out of for next? Like, do you have any tedious internal or external processes that you think you would benefit in automating and putting in Zervicepoint?
I would say we have a lot, and it's more and more are coming almost every day now. Latest now is the travel booking that we redid.
We released that one yesterday.
Yeah, and then we have massage booking and fika booking that we're gonna redo and put it on Zervicepoint. So we get new task every day to automate. So it's really fun to see.
Carl-Fredrik, would you mind showing those fun services like order a plushie and Fika, or did you have Fika yet, or were you starting?
No, Fika is under development, but we do have travel booking and teddy bears for newlyborns. Yes.
So Daniel, can you describe why someone would like to order a teddy bear to another person?
Well, in VISMA, we try to be the best workplace in the world. One of the things they thought of then was that when someone gets a new baby, then we want to appreciate them by ordering a teddy bear for them.
So it's a very simple
such a cute service.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's just a form where the manager enters the personal number of the person.
The parent?
The parent, yes, the parent and the employee then, and their cell phone number. This will generate a ticket with our building personnel. She's packaging a teddy bear for the employee and send it via PostNord, and the employee will get a tracking number on their cell phone. So very simple.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Very cool though. I really like it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anyone. I've heard of Fika services before, but I haven't heard of teddy bear services before. So that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
Would you like to show the travel service?
Yes, I can do that as well. So we had an intranet function that we converted onto Zervicepoint. It's just a simple form where you select what you want to book. If you want to book a travel, from where. So what we have done is that we're using form functions. So if you select that you want to book a travel, it will expand another form section. You select from where you want to travel to where you want to travel, and you select your time when you want to travel. So April 25th, for instance. You select if the time is when you want to travel or when you want to arrive. The way you want to travel, by train or flight, airplane. If you want to have a taxi or bus or Arlanda Express waiting for you, if you select one of these fields, the from and to addresses will be required fields. And if you remove them, they will not. Same thing for going home. Looks exactly the same, works exactly the same. Then you have your hotel booking. And this, all this will generate a JSON string that we handle in a PowerShell script and generate an email that will be sent to the travel agency. So we are not using variables for all these fields, since it's very close to the limitation of 50 variables in a single service.
I think that limitation goes to the number of in parameters into an activity. So you can have more in a form, but if you like to have more than 50 in parameters for an activity, then you need to start being creative like you have done.
Yeah.
So very cool. Thank you for that demonstration.
Welcome.
So who decides what's up for digitalization in your organization? who is like the requester of new projects for you guys?
It's a mix of everyone, and we also have a steering committee that decides which process we should focus on next. Things like teddy bear, easy request we can do ourselves when we have the time. But the bigger pictures like continuing with the onboarding process to get HR involved, that's the steering group committee that decides when. And the steering group committee is composed by our IT manager, it's HR, we have finance, and also community manager.
Yeah, so everyone's involved in a way.
Yeah, we have even a service for it called feedback or new proposal, so everyone can send in what they want to see.
A good idea. And this next question here is something I think I have a good hunch on, but I know that people are wondering, maybe people that hasn't worked that much with Zervicepoint. So the question is, how much time on average do you spend on building a new service?
Ooh, that really depends on the service. It could be everything from an hour, 2 hours to 2, 3, 4 days, depending on what needs to be done. Really, I mean, if we just build a simple Fika booking system, it will take like half a day perhaps to get everything in place if you do a lot of other things at the same time. But if you are to integrate with external services and fetch data and so on, it will take longer time, and it really depends on what you integrate with.
Yeah. So that's a good point. I mean, like an onboarding process takes quite a lot of time because you need to perhaps you need to communicate with other people as well. Whereas teddy bear request, you just need to sit at your computer and put the process in place, basically. And maybe it's more of like send a ticket or send an email, just take the data, clean the data, and pass it through.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so I'm heading over to a couple of questions about Zervicepoint that some feedback that we really like to extract from you guys. And the first question is, which feature or which features in Zervicepoint impresses you the most or gives you the most wow effect?
I can start. The one thing that's standing out for most of our users is how clean it looks and how easy it is to find what they're looking for. And before, they haven't had the chance to follow their ticket or their order in the way that they can do in the Zervicepoint.
I also say the simplicity of building new services is a wow factor. I mean, if you just want a simple form that sends an email to someone, it is a very, very simple process to set up and arrange. So from ax till limpa, as you say in Swedish, start to end, it can be really, really simple to set something up. And you can do just temporary things very, very fast as well, if you want to. But then also the complexity is a wow factor, that you can build really, really complex things with Zervicepoint and with integrations using PowerShell or .NET in the back end, building your own services. That is also a good wow factor once you get the hang of it.
Okay, so now for a less flattering question for us. Which features in Zervicepoint do you wish had the same level of wow?
I would say a GDPR functionality, a built-in functionality for GDPR cleaning. That would have been really, really nice to see. You can do it now, but that means that you have to actually work with the PowerShell
API,
and you have to know exactly what your variable names are for each service where a user has placed an order. So it puts a lot of effort on the person cleaning the data right now. So a more simple and more integrated service in Zervicepoint is something that we would love to see.
Yeah, that's good feedback. I mean, as you said, we have you can do it, but we put much of that responsibility on you as a customer today. So you need to know which form fields you typically have that may or may not contain GDPR sensitive information. And then you use the API to anonymize the data.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know you had a suggestion there where you could tag a field that it potentially contains GDPR sensitive data, and we could just somewhere in perhaps the admin web wash the data. You select the user from the user profiles table, and you basically anonymize them completely.
Yeah, anonymize those orders and the fields tagged as GDPR data.
Yeah, so that's a very good idea, and we have had it from other customers as well. So I think we will be doing some kind of feature poll again soon. We did one last spring, and the features that the community voted for the most was the REST API and buttons, and well, we had a few more, but those two we have implemented now. So we tried that last spring, and I think it was very successful, and we could get a hunch of what people out there thought was most important. So if we put GDPR in this spring's turn, we can see how many customers have the same ache. Okay, so going on to a segment here with questions about the learning curve for you guys and working with Zervicepoint. So what is something you did not know that you could do with Zervicepoint but learned via community, cookie, and or partner?
I would say that most of the things that we have done I've learned from the community or by watching your cookies, but also using the predefined examples that came with our installation. They have been a great help in developing the skills on building our own services by using them as templates or just glancing at them to get ideas on how to do things.
Okay, that's very good feedback, because we have had quite many internal discussions lately about those template services, or the services that you had in your cloud store from the get-go. So I like to hear that you find them useful, because we have been debating that quite much internally. We have a bunch of template services in our internal documentation and our own repository, but we haven't exposed them.
No.
So we're talking about that. We have so many template services.
Good to hear. So we know where to go.
Well, we need to publish them first, but okay, so focus a little on my dear code cookies here. Which one of the code cookies is your favorite?
I will go for the love calculator.
The love calculator. Okay, so that's a surprise for me, actually, because I didn't think the love calculator was in the top 10 even. But can you explain why you like the love calculator?
Yeah, the reason for it is because it's going so in depth in a lot of the functions that you utilize in Zervicepoint. It shows a lot of how the backend stuff works with the requests, collecting arrays, and how you handle that data in forms. So that has given a lot of input on what we do today.
Okay,
But
so
I
that's
mean, all code cookies have their good stuff in them, of course. Some more than others, but the one that has given me the most is the love calculator.
Because if I watch on the viewers on my code cookies, whenever I integrate with a known system, the viewers goes up. So, but I have a feeling that's false positive. I mean, if I do an integration with League of Legends, I'm gonna get a lot of viewers that are interested in League of Legends.
Yeah,
and not perhaps business automation, but
true.
But well, hey, I'm not gonna stop doing clickbaits.
Nope. You should continue with them. Definitely.
Okay, so what kind of content would you like to see in the code cookies? Is it more from ax to limpa, from corn to loaf?
Yeah, I would say a mix of both. I mean, for just raising the interest, it's good to see what you can do with Zervicepoint, but then also it's good to see how you do it. But I guess it's two different audiences. So that's what I would recommend from our perspective. Two different kinds of code cookies. One that shows the possibilities and one that shows how you actually do them.
Okay, so that's very good feedback for me. I will take that with me and think about new cool ideas. And I think we'll wrap up this week for now. And next week we'll have our last segment with the guys from VISMA. And thank you everyone for watching. Let's wave together.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.